You ain't got the skills I got or the power I got. Or whatever you do, I do it better. 10 times better. Remember where I'm from, man.
The Boxtalk. It's the new year, new subjects, new editions. We're going to give it all this year. Here at Boxtalk, we love to discuss boxing subjects. When we first came up, before we had all our subscribers, we've done loads of videos on issues in boxing, and we're going to start rehashing some of them and start going through things.
Nice word. I like that, rehashing. Yeah,
with a little different perspective and look at things slightly a bit different. And the first one we're going to start with for 2015 is how to fix boxing.
Big one to start with.
It's a big one to start with. And when you say fix boxing, you know, we all boxing fans, we all love boxing, but we all know boxing ain't like any other sport in the world. It has so much controversial issues surrounding the sport, that makes it a turn off to the general press,
yes,
to the general public,
yeah,
and to the media.
Yeah.
What we're going to do to fix it?
Well, first of all, we can get rid of interim, we can get rid of regular, we can get rid of silver, we can get rid of intercontinental. What other ones are there, Brian? We've even got like WBO European, WBC European, international.
Yeah.
Feel free to come
belts.
Diamond belts, yeah. Super champion.
Yeah, super champion. Yeah.
Get rid of every single one of those nonsensical belts. I don't mind sanctioning bodies coming out. IBO came out 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Yeah.
Because you know, world title people like Ricky Hatton's had it, Manny Pacquiao's had it. It's, now that to me is a genuine belt.
Yeah.
But these interim nonsense, I can't take anymore. It's killing boxing.
It is killing boxing. If you get into old school for people that say that my uncles, my aunties, people just love boxing back in the day. Boxing was the #1 sport in the world.
Yes, it was.
And they could all sit down, a bunch of 70-year-olds in a room, and say, when Joe Frazier was a champion, when Floyd Patterson, they're talking about one guy.
Yes.
They're not saying when Klitschko and Shannon Briggs and they're not giving certain in Bragomov. Shaggyev's got one. Valuev's got one. It wasn't like that, and I'm trying to say again with you. I understand that times have changed, so yes, I understand having 3 or 4 belts or 5 belts.
I get that.
You can understand that, but when you got X amount of divisions in boxing, was it now 18 divisions, 19 divisions in boxing? And you ain't got 19 champions, you got 120 champions.
Yes.
And then you add in the silvers, the internet, and you got in that like over 500 world titles in boxing. It's not a world title.
Yeah, and then we get the weight divisions. Don't get me wrong, look, for a lot of newcomers right now, say Pacquiao, 8-weight world champion, you think, oh my god, he must be the greatest.
Yeah.
That's because they didn't have that many weights back in the day. You couldn't go up a cheeseburger and be a different weight class.
Back in the day, if you didn't jump about 10 pounds, you were not in a weight class.
You were not in a weight class.
If you were a welterweight and you're at 147, if you went to go up in weight, you had to go to see the man, Marvin Hagler, at 160.
There you go. You know, there was no 154. There was
no 154. I mean, there was no 140. I mean, there was no 130. There was no super middleweights.
Yeah, there wasn't even a cruiserweights.
I'm trying to say, I understand the cruiserweights a little bit,
definitely,
in a sense. Whereas
light heavyweights to heavyweights too much.
Again, let's look at history. Look at Bob Foster, who barely weighed 180 pounds, fighting Fraser, fighting Ali. I think he even fought 4 mil. Basically, Bob Foster never lost at light heavyweight. I think he lost one. Or he might have lost one at light heavyweight. No, I didn't lose. But basically, he lost everyone at heavyweight. Yeah, because he was just way too small. He was undersized. That gap is too big. But you know. That's the thing. Talk with the weight classes though. I had this discussion on Saturday night with some of my friends. A lot of people were saying they're turned off with boxing because fights were unfair in a sense where people were weighing in today at 140, then coming to the ring the following night at 160 pounds. Yeah. And they're saying, how can you really have one guy face another guy? And a friend of a friend, don't know his name, he actually watched the Danny Garcia Rod Sarko fight. Yeah. And he heard the commentary about where Sarko was coming from, how much Danny Garcia weighed, and he said, why was this fight even on? And I couldn't even defend the sport. I couldn't even defend the sport.
What did Danny Garcia probably coming at? 165?
Yeah, 165.
And Rod Sarko probably 140?
Yeah.
Couldn't even, because he was a 130 guy coming up.
And the point that's 2 stone. The point I'm making is that people are saying that boxing weight class weigh-ins should be on the same day. With better medical, with now with the future,
better nutritionists.
So yeah, they've changed it in the past. They're saying people weren't rehydrating well on the same day. Yeah. But that was again 20, 30 years ago. With better nutrition, the right training, people fighting their natural weight class, the weight they walk around at, a la Floyd Mayweather, the sport will be healthier.
I'm so happy you said a la Floyd Mayweather here because we're talking about the #1 pound-for-pound boxer in the world now, and it has been for a few years now. If he can walk around at 150, which he does walk around, and fight at 147. It shows you that's how
Go see Floyd right now, right after Christmas, after all the turkey and all the mince pies, he still weighs 150. That's the point I'm making. Yeah. I mean, if Hopkins was another example of a guy stayed around his weight class. I understand that people naturally grow and put on size, but I think it should be fair that a boxer should fight within, say, 8 to 10 pounds of his natural weight.
Yeah. I don't mind weigh-ins not being on the same day, what they should enforce, and I think they've tried to do it in a few states, is there was same day weigh-in. So if you weigh in at 147 pounds, you have to weigh in. You can't go more than 155.
Yeah.
And if you do, then you forfeit something. Do you know what I mean?
That's when someone forfeits the weight on the scales and by a pound or two, so they're trying to cap it. But I was going to say anything about videos. If you go on YouTube and look at videos of John Pascal training with Roy Jones, Pascal is a 175 pounder. Roger's now at 200 pounds. Pascal is clearly bigger than Roy Jones. Yeah, so Pascal again is not a guy that walks around at 175. He walks around close to 200 pounds or more, boiling themselves down. If they fought out their weight classes, I think it'd be better for the sport and better for the fighters themselves. Yeah,
you get better competition. There's none of that stupid advantage. One thing that I definitely think is killing the sport, and one thing that's going to be impossible to change, is promoters. I mean, look, we're big UFC fans and we watch it all the time. And look, yes, there are other. Sorry, we're big MMA fans. Yes, there are other organisations. The UFC is number one by a giant, probably 90% of the market. We get to see the fights we want to see because that promoter literally says you're fighting and you have to fight. We saw Cormier and Jones. Everyone says one of the most best fights, the last whatever in terms of the build up for it. Pacquiao Mayweather. Fights, do you know what I mean? Fights that we're never going to see because literally we have this issue with TV networks and promoters simply not wanting to work with each other.
Let's be honest, and let's forget, we kind of forget sometimes that we get older every year.
I don't.
This fight was announced to happen in 2009.
Bloody hell.
It is now 2015.
6 years.
Yes, it's only the 6th or 7th of January. Yes, it's only just started. But you're looking at effectively 6 years. This fight
not being able to negotiate a deal to fight
for the biggest money-making fight in boxing history. That tells you enough. Whereas you can't defend it under any circumstances. No matter whose side you're on, I'm not taking no sides. You can't defend that.
I'm all for fighters getting more powerful, getting more money. I think we do. When fighters get more powerful than TV execs, promoters, and managers, a la Floyd Mayweather, it gets stupid. When Floyd Mayweather said, "I'm the king of this negotiating. We don't negotiate unless I'm thinking, huh? Are you boxing or are you a fighter?
I said this before in videos that I'm trying to say. There's no such thing there's no such. If I say you do this and you do it, that's not negotiation. It's called negotiation because you're trying to come to a fair deal for all parties.
What I want to see, and people might say this already happens, it doesn't, people. Number one, fighting number two. Why not number one fighting number 7 or number 9, or because he fought for the IBF later, he's now higher in the IBF rank, and so he's like, no, number one, simply fighting number 2. You ask everyone knows who number 1 and number 2 in their divisions. I don't want to see number 1 versus number 8 anymore and say it's a competitive matchup because of styles. I don't care about styles. I want to see number 1 fight number 2.
The best versus the best. What I also want to see from the rankings is that rankings should rank other champions.
Yes.
Because I say if you go to any of the sanctioning bodies rankings, every other champion in the other division are not ranked.
Mayweather's not in the top 10 for IBF.
So there you go. So basically what happens is that you get, not all the time, you get like maybe the number 9, number 10 guys are guys you never heard from they're good fighters, but they're not marquee fighters, and you really don't hear them because they don't get their fights not televised, they're not or they fight in their hometown, but they're now mandatory fighters or top 10 fighters without fighting no one.
I mean, look,
it's unfair.
A good example, and again, this is no way putting this guy down because I think this guy's going to be a future world champion. Andy Joshua's ranked number 8 now by the WBC. Andy Joshua's not the best 8 best heavyweight in the world. No. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's confusing people. People look at it as confusing.
And I think it's dangerous to say to get a guy who's been a pro for 18 months now, I'm trying to say, to push him that far.
And promoters use it smartly. Because promoters will say, he's ranked number 4 by the WBC, number 1 by the WBO. Don't be fooled, people. Promoters use that, and that's one thing. That's
the power of the mouth, gift of the gab. What they need to change in boxing, honestly and truly, is the judges.
Dum dum dum.
And I'll tell you what you need to do with these judges, no joke. A lot of these judges, as we all spoke before, they're old. They're in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s. And these guys know boxing. But the biggest thing in boxing, what people say betraying boxing, is that boxers don't have money, retired boxers. Why don't I get ex-boxers who know the sport to actually be judges and referees? People that know what they're looking at, people that understand certain moves, certain styles, certain things that. And we've studied everyone out there. We all watch boxing hardcore. We know boxing well, but we can never ever understand what it's like to be in a real world-class nitty-gritty battle and look at the finer things because you haven't done it yourself. It's like being a race car driver. You can go and pay a simulator to be a race, but you can't actually be on the road or feeling it at 250 miles per hour.
I agree.
You don't get that. They need to put people that are in that situation, put the money in their pocket, give the sport some more credibility, and fix the dodgy decisions.
I agree. I mean, I even sometimes think the best fights are ones when referee decides who wins.
Yeah,
they're in there. They're seeing the action. They're seeing the body work. They're seeing it. And no one seems to argue when you get those decisions. Yeah, you get a few home ones, but no one seems to argue. I mean, look, CJ Ross is a good example.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched Sugar Ray Leonard fight the other day. Judge was CJ Ross. CJ Ross is a guy.
Gampa and all those guys. They've been around for like a few
and
years.
don't tell me those names are not corrupt.
No.
I'm sorry, I'm not trying to, pull out CJ Ross, but don't tell me those names. I've not been around the promoters like Bob Arum and Don King for years and had a bit in their pocket. Come on.
That's what I'm trying. Now, I'm not saying they're corrupt, what you're saying, yeah, but if you're one of the top 5 judges in the world for 10 years, 20 years, or like these guys, 30, 40 years, you're gonna know every fighter, every promoter, everything about the sport inside out. So that it makes you, in a sense, even if you're not corrupted, you're corrupted already. Because you automatically pally and see certain things that you shouldn't really see. That's what it's gonna be, because
medicals.
Oh shit.
I'm sorry. You don't. Look. Yes, we know boxing is a dangerous sport. Yes, you get hit. Me and Ryan have been watching boxing for years, guys. If you know what I'm asking about medicals, you watch a James Toney interview in the 90s. You watch a James Toney interview now. You need subtitles. Yeah. It gets to a stage where it becomes too much. I don't care if the person's fighting someone that can't punch. Roy Jones Jr. the same thing. You can't keep doing this. Jermaine Taylor, brain bleeds. How can you have brain bleeds and then pass a medical? Something needs to be done about medicals.
No, something needs to be done about medicals. And the thing about with the medicals as well is that, okay, the referee could stop the fight.
Yes.
The ringside could stop the fight. The doctor at the ringside could stop the fight.
Yeah.
When people are getting pounded in the ring or getting badly hurt, how come none of these 3 people get up and do something about it?
Yeah. Well, you say that. You get my point. There's even referees now. Yeah. It's got to the stage where there's even referees. Steve Smolder's one of the referees saying he lets things go. The referees and the judges under I wouldn't say pressure, but look, you know what the crowd are like. Crowd they don't want to see a Regondo. They don't want to see a Lara. They want to see Alvarado Rios. They want to see Gatti Ward.
Well, the crowd should be realistic and say, guess what? Put your son or your mother or your daughter or someone in your family in the ring and let them take that pounding.
All right. Anything else for the first one? My God.
I'm just thinking, just to make sure they missed something. I mostly did miss something because, as you know, we don't plan this stuff. We just come straight off the dome.
Straight the cuff.
No, I mean, but yeah, I think that's it. That's how you fix boxing.
There you go. Look, so there was a few guys in there. We talked about judges. We talked about weigh-ins. We talked about weights. We talked about belts. Can you guys think of anything else? I don't know if we missed stuff. Probably have missed stuff. Like Ryan said, this is off the cuff. Email us anything that you can think. I'll leave your comments below as you normally do. And email us at
boxtalk@hotmail.co.uk, and don't forget us on Twitter at boxtalkuk, also on Instagram at boxtalk_1.
Yeah, boy. And don't forget to subscribe as well, guys. Please subscribe the numbers. I want them to keep growing and keep growing and keep growing. But thanks for watching another edition of Box Talk, a special edition. Cheers. That looked long.
You need the special edition.
Oh, not long.
How long?
16.
Yeah.
Anyway, welcome.